Hey, Eric, did you know that people who enjoy this podcast can support us on Patreon?
No.
Well, they can. Patrons can enjoy special benefits such as early access to the weekly show. And if you go to patreon.com/retroam, you can find out more information.
Thanks.
Now, would you like to hear some hot sounds that I have recorded? Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast series about Xenogears. Join us today as we use this game as a platform to discuss giant robots and the feelings people have while inside them. My name is Chris. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris. Good to see light this time.
Yeah, it's light in here today. It's not dark, although we are about to discuss a night purge, by the way.
Right. Night Purge is the name of the chapter. According to the blogspot Xenogears study guide, its purely translated title is just Purge.
To purge.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. Night Purge is better, though.
The word, I think the movie series has kind of corrupted the word purge, but I feel like it wasn't in normal parlance around that time. And
That's true.
To see it in an RPG, instead of annihilation or obliteration or genocide, just straight up purge is pretty good.
So we've seen this purge begin as like some Zeppelin-like ships descend on Nortune.
Right.
There's spotlights peering up into the sky. There's anti-aircraft lasers, cannons.
Energy weapons, maybe?
Energy weapons?
We're not entirely sure of Kislev's military capabilities.
They sound like modern bullets, artillery, but in reality, I believe they appear to be like energy beams and whatnot. Some of those ships are going down.
Yeah.
Some of the Zeppelins are going down and like just taken out entire. Like one of them, it looks like it falls right on D block and all the power goes out. I'm not sure if we see this yet, but there's fire everywhere.
Yeah,
there's civilians running
D-Block
everywhere.
is burning and it's doing that thing where to simulate it like chaos, the camera shakes back and forth violently.
Yeah, something that you probably couldn't do on a fully 2D
Right.
game quite as effectively. So this is they're taking advantage of the way this game is built from a 3D polygon perspective. So as we left last week, Fei had already blasted off to go stop the air raid on Kislev, and Citan has gone to run off to help the civilians. And it's sort of amazing that Citan seems to give a shit about other people.
No,
right
he's doing something else.
Okay.
Did we actually see him help a civilian in this entire sequence?
Well, we see him amongst
Yeah.
civilians. Him and Hammer are out there doing stuff, but
Everything Citan does at this point, I'm just convinced it's a smokescreen. He's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go help civilians. He's secretly like digging up red rum.
Yeah.
And like harvesting some part that he buried with it that just like a parasite that just birthed out of it that he can put in Fei later or something.
yeah, I like your theory better. Mine was that maybe when the D-Block doctor sort of undressed him for having no responsibility, that she got to him, but...
Oh, no way.
Okay.
He doesn't he is... I'm certain part of his training was to never experience remorse. You know how soldiers get desensitized so they can shoot other people? Citan did that just for basic human relationships. I think it's called a sociopath.
Yeah, I mean, Citan's borderline sociopath.
Mm-hmm. He has a mission. It's not a complete...
We don't know if it's 100% his own mission, though,
right?
But I guess we'll find out. That's the point to where it pans to Elly in the cockpit of her gear.
Right.
And her Proud Boy squad is talking about how they are seeing they call Fei and Citan the Ave Pirates.
Yeah, that's how they know them, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah. I think it was Breuer first said that he saw the Ave Pirates. I was thinking, oh, Bart's here, my guy, but no, he was talking about Fei and whatnot.
I'm a pirate. That's a good bit of continuity for the entire series right there that I wouldn't necessarily expect.
Yeah. They're not happy that Fei's there because I think that they know that they always get owned by him.
Yeah, they're 0-2 at this point.
No, they're not doing great. And one of them wonders why Fei is everywhere they go. Fei is here.
Yeah. This demon that's haunting them everywhere. Every mission they get on, this guy just shows up in every part of the continent and beats the shit out of them. Like, and not just the end battles in the past. I think with Purge, at least one of the times, like those are pretty difficult. But Fei usually just walks all over these guys.
Yeah. Rink is the one. Like they all sort of blast off to go battle Fei or to stop whoever is trying to stop the descent of these Zeppelin things as they head towards the reactor. Rink lingers behind a bit.
Yeah, we have a little bit of thoughts from Rank. What does he want to do?
He's talking to Elly. He's trying to, I guess, rationalize his existence to Elly.
You got to psych yourself up before you go do the big mission.
Yeah, he also uses the improper form of the word your. He uses Y-O-U-R when he should have used the contracted version of it.
Yeah, it's the second or third time that's happened in this game. I didn't pay attention the first couple of times, but I would hope that Rank also fucked it up then, because that would be a good character trait to emphasize that he didn't pay attention in the education part of his training.
I guess Rank has some sort of he's trying to defend his pride. He
he's got some gladiator stuff going on.
Yeah, because I think we saw a couple scenes ago that Rank didn't really care. Or no, excuse me, Rank did have some feelings about this purge they were about to execute, and he wasn't quite so sure about doing this, but now he's kind of all in because he wants to, avenge his pride.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight Fei as an enemy. He wants to fight him as a competitor.
He wants to kick Fei's butt, to be exact. He says, I'm going to kick his butt. Yeah. So.
I picture just a guy hell-bent on revenge and like appreciating the sport of battle without knowing that he's completely terrible at it, that these are all Glass Joes or Von Kaisers.
When these dudes were first introduced, we kind of analogized them to the Ginyu Force.
Yeah.
But I think they're more like Frieza's like low-rank henchmen that just get owned by Krillin.
Or the little person squad that you fight in God Hand.
Cargon Wild Joker! One hard gangster diamond! You can find me at the club! Have your pet neutered or spayed! Ow, 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 ow! I'm hurt! I mean hurt! Together we are the
douchebags.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Coming soon, God Hand episode.
Yeah, please.
That's maybe a good idea, actually.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Okay. So then we flash to Fei in his cockpit. And I think there's a bunch of yellow flashes, I guess because of explosions.
Like warning signals, proximity warnings, stuff like that.
Maybe. And when the music kicks on, it's not Night of Fire. It's Steel Giant. It's like secondary boss music, and I think this is a indication that the Gebler Special Forces are not even real bosses anymore.
They're not worthy of the true boss music.
Yeah.
Kind of forecasting what's about to happen.
Yeah, I think, Dominia has already superseded them in terms of rank, and...
rank.
Fuck. Shit. So, now these dudes are just kind of... They're fodder. The battle begins, and...
Well, before that, there's like a cool shot when Fei is in his cockpit. He pulls up to the ship, and Rank's gear is just standing on top of, like, the ship. It's a...
You see Fei's perspective, and he's on...
It's an Aegis Knight. R.
Aegis?
Aegis.
I think it's Aegis.
Initializing Fei Net.
It is pronounced Aegis.
Aegis Knight R.
Yeah, the Aegis Knight R wants to battle. They battle on top of the Zeppelin, right?
Yeah, because gears can't do mid-flight hovering as far as we know. So they gotta stand on a surface to kick ass. I wonder if they calibrate for like wind resistance and stuff like that. Probably not.
They didn't think about that.
Yep. They have magnetic boots.
Also, giant robots don't really need legs, but they have those too, so...
Well, how are they going to move without legs? Tank treads?
Yeah, I guess legs are more...
Rico has treads, doesn't he? Stier?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But he also has he has legs with treads at the bottom.
I would like to replace my legs with tank treads.
It'd be pretty good. You could just get a Segway.
Not the same.
Yeah. I'm surprised here that when we beat the ass of the Aegis Knight that it doesn't blow up and the character dies.
Yeah, it just says the crumpling noise.
Yeah, and it flies away.
Do we see these guys again?
I don't know.
I don't either.
We don't see them again in this chapter, but Faye is definitely not murdering them yet or ever. I don't know.
I don't know if they're those characters that just get dropped, fade away, or if they actually have a proper exit. Because it seemed like after this that these guys are done. We don't need to face them as aggressors anymore, moving on to bigger and better antagonists.
Yeah.
So yeah, we face the Aegis Knight, which is rank, and then Sword Knight is another fight. And this guy kind of beat me up a little bit. Yeah,
this was a bit tougher, and I was starting to lose. I was starting to become concerned with my health.
Gives you anxiety.
I did not equip the frame repair thing.
You didn't equip the thing they just gave you?
No, I
Chris,
forgot.
what do you do in an RPG? You equip the thing they just gave you.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Did you equip the beam coats they just gave you?
I actually already had a beam coat on, so I was good. Okay. But I was...
Did you give one to Rico?
Well, yes.
That's later, okay.
Yeah, it's later, yes. So after you beat the Sword Knight, it flashes to Citan that he is evacuating people.
Yeah, he's evacuating people. I see me winking here on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Is he speaking to anybody, or is he just kind of wandering about town with his hands in his pockets full of red rum guts?
Hammer's there with him. And Citan says that Faye cannot stand by and watch innocent people lose their lives again, which Faye has...
He's getting good at that.
Faye is definitely does not need a call to action when it comes to protecting people. That's part of his nature, it appears at this point.
Yeah.
Although, the first time he did that, the whole plan backfired when he lost control of the Weltall and destroyed everybody he loved and knew.
In the Lahan incident, of course. Poor Timothy. But then it goes to Rico.
Yeah.
Isn't he wandering around about the burning town as well, or is he somewhere...
He's wandering around about the town, and he's kind of conflicted about whether or not he gives a shit.
Yeah, he says, who gives a damn about this crap town, and then pauses and says, I'm crap too.
Yeah.
I would look like crap.
Which, good job, buddy. Self-loathing.
When he pauses, too, there's like an abstract quote that appears on the screen that is not in a text box. It's just kind of hovering, and it says, even you must have things to do here.
Yeah, it flashes back to Faye from the previous chapter. Faye told him that whenever Faye was trying to like get him to not kill himself.
Oh, okay.
And like to the Rancor Dragon, he's like, surely you've got things to live for, man.
Okay, I didn't read that as Faye. I had no idea what that was. I thought maybe it was his his mother.
I'm 95% sure Faye said that when he was trying to snap Rico out of it in the previous chapter.
That makes more sense based on what comes next.
So he hates himself after hating the town, which I think is a little bit more healthy, maybe. A path toward redemption?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Rico's been all over the place. Yeah. Because at first he was imposing badass who did, 10k damage to us in an on-foot battle. Then he was the 3-time champion, and now he is, sort of pathetic and wallowing in his own misery. And he's also dealing with these newfound feelings of who he is from the past. And I mean, we're pretty easily able to figure out that the Kaiser is most likely his father that cast him off. The Kaiser who is...
We're not in denial over it, though. Rico might be.
He could be. But the weird part about all of this is that the Kaiser cast Rico off because he was his, deformed son or whatever.
Right.
But the Kaiser is maybe partially demi-human as well. Because he's got the 20 years.
But he's passable, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, isn't that a big thing in the trans community is people who aren't, quote, passable get treated maybe worse than people that appear more feminine or male?
Yeah, that's probably a thing. Yeah.
So I'm not sure that was on their mind when they made this game, but I think it still applies to the same metaphor, whereas someone who definitely looks like an other as opposed to somebody who can't pass as another. Yeah,
a certain standard of beauty, so to speak.
Right. So next we've got, so it just zooms out on Rico.
Yeah, it cuts back to Faye in the cockpit.
We go with Claw Knight R.
Yeah, more shit-ass mini-bosses here. Claw Knight R is not that hard, but since we didn't get a heal.
Yeah, we still haven't... Chris can't heal at all because he didn't get the 30 HP
I'm almost
thing.
dead. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to reboot here.
Did you upgrade your stuff? There's a fix bot in the previous hangar in the last chapter. Did you fully upgrade Faye's gear in that thing? Okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I was fully upgraded, but I was not healed. Thank you, Rico, for showing up at this point in the Stier.
This is also a game where if you buy a new frame, which gets you higher HP, if you don't restore your fuel, it'll just send you out there with whatever HP you used to have, and you won't get that higher HP total. But yeah, after you beat Claw Knight R, Rico shows up, and you face 2 Wand Knight Rs at the same time.
Rico says something about how he doesn't need a reason to beat the crap out of anyone who pisses him off.
Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Which is
progress.
It's progress, and that's the most in-character thing that Rico's said in a while, perhaps.
I mean, he's just been beating people up for sport in the battle arena for the last 10 years, right?
Yeah, he hasn't really needed a reason. Yeah, that's true.
And then he just tests people when they come into prison. He orchestrates the first night beating.
This is the first time that we get to control the Stier in combat.
Yes.
And he's already got a bunch of death blows already. My favorite one is the Twister D.
What's that one do?
It's a spinning body slam where he's like Andre the Giant, where he... You know how like sometimes this... I guess this probably happened in classic wrestling where they would do like the overhead body slam where they would hold the opponent up as high above their shoulders and then drop them. Well, some wrestlers would like spin them around as if it were to do additional damage.
Oh, like the spinning a pizza?
Yeah, even though we know that it won't necessarily do damage.
Yeah.
It's
part of the theatrics.
It's part of the show. Yeah. It's all good.
Look what I can do.
But
I'm strong. I can spin this guy. So he's a burly bruiser.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, he's Zang. He's got Zangief's moves. Apparently.
There's one called like Bomberhead or something where I talked about last time where he he puts his hands on the chest of his opponent and just rams his head over and over again like a headbanger. Even his gear has CTE, it just transfers over.
So you beat those dudes, and this may be the last we see of the Gelbor Special Forces, or maybe not, we don't know yet.
I bet my prediction is that you see like Vance or somebody like later on being like, don't remember me like this, as they're in some kind of catastrophic accident.
Yeah, or they're used as fodder to demonstrate the prowess of a yet to be introduced mini boss squad or something.
That's true. They can be worthy sacrifices.
So now that the Gelbor Special Forces are eliminated, we have one left.
Verge.
The Vierge is here to stop us now.
There's a nice static rumbling noise of the town burning as it introduces her. I haven't heard it anywhere else in this game before. Before Verge comes though, doesn't Fei make Rico leave so he doesn't see Fei talking to his girlfriend?
That may be it. I just wrote down that Rico goes on ahead to stop the last ship. But you might be right.
Yeah, Fei was kind of like, get out of here! Don't you see me talking to her?
And before the conversation actually ensues, the screen breaks to the battle sequence, and we have the conversation within battle, and there's no music though. It's just wind swirling.
Yeah, it's good ambient sound effect.
Fei's pretty pissed at Elly at this point,
but for bad reasons. What does he expect?
He expects her to do what he said to do.
To leave the military?
Yeah, he wanted her to leave the military and she didn't. I don't think she ever agreed to leave the military. Yeah,
she had no intention of doing that. I don't even, like, maybe he just bought into, like, he thinks whatever he said she'll do because he has that kind of compelling power on anyone, which is no one so far.
Yeah.
But I saw that and I was like, dude, you wished upon a star on that one and that's not how that's going to go.
Yeah, I think the last time they interacted was atop the mountain during the recapture Ave sequence when...
After she was coming down off drive?
Yeah, and I don't think that she agreed. I think she said she couldn't at that point.
Yeah,
she said the same thing she says here, where she can't.
Yeah, we got more scenes where Elly was talking about, or people talk about Elly's father being in the program, more of her background, how she was kind of locked into the system, part of the system, inescapable to the system.
Yeah, Elly says that she's thought about changing, but she can't. She says she doesn't have the freedom that Fei does.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either. Fei doesn't buy it, and I don't buy it either, because...
I mean, Fei's kind of living that like vagabond lifestyle where he has no possessions and is just going from kingdom to kingdom, murdering, killing, winning battles. Like, he's been all over the continent at this point, when previously he had spent 3 years in a hut.
Yeah, but he doesn't... I don't think it's... At this point, I mean, there's a couple of times where Fei has sort of taken ownership of the moment and driven the process forward, but... All in all, Fei is just being strung along by other people the whole time. He doesn't really have the freedom that maybe Elly thinks he has, or even that Fei... And I think he realizes that here.
Imagine Elly coming into their situation, and then she knows Citan already because she talked with him, but then she... spoiler, she joins up later in this chapter, but she, like, imagine her coming to terms with how many people are pulling Fei strings in different directions. Like, she doesn't even know about the Groff shit yet, right?
Yeah, probably not.
It's like, oh, this guy comes out of, he just powers up people. Whatever, you'll meet him later. It's fine. We're going to save this city now, though, so be cool.
Elly
Before
says,
all that.
Yeah, Elly says, to be able to choose where you belong, to be able to fight alongside those who believe in their own cause, which she's using that to say that Fei, that this is what you get to do, and that's only partially true. Like, Fei was able to choose quote unquote choose to join up with Bart and them. I don't think he really had a choice though.
No, he had no options there. I mean, he didn't want to, but they compelled him to joining up the pirate force, and that didn't really last too long in the grand scheme of things.
Elly at this point really, Fei kind of presses her on like, yeah, you do have your own free will, Elly. You can do this, and she doesn't really buy it. But Fei continues to press.
Yeah, doesn't she punch him in the face at some point? Like in the gear, doesn't like the gear punch it like a mad, I'm not trying to hurt you, but I'm trying to express emotion punch?
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens next. So Fei's trying to explain that he doesn't have anything either, and he's like, all the pirates that I met 2 weeks ago are dead.
Yeah, because that's what he believes, right?
Yes.
Everyone else you met, gone.
Yeah, I met these pirates. They're all dead too, because as far as he knows, Bart and the crew are their own.
They
too.
sank.
But he also says, you don't have to deal with all this shit. Just come with me, because I have it together, Elly.
When he says, come with me, I pictured the Puff Daddy video, because that was around the exact same time that came out.
Yeah.
Really convinced of himself. But my guy Fei loves having post and pre-battle heart-to-hearts with his girlfriend.
Yeah, he does.
He's really into this stuff.
He so much as to where he like drags the Vierge to the burning town to show her what's going on and like get out of the gear. Because we don't actually see it. We just hear sound effects because that would be difficult to animate.
Right, but it's the exact same thing as when your dog shits in the yard and you rub his face in it to like let him know of his mistake. See the destruction you've caused.
Yeah, this is when the sad music plays to do the sad music thing. I believe this track is called Lost Broken Shards. And Fei, the track comes on, and Fei gives a "this is what you're fighting for" speech to her to try to motivate her to try to show her the evil of her ways, apparently.
I mean, when you're in a ship, kind of like the people that drop the atomic bomb, you don't necessarily have to first-person witness all the destruction that you're causing. You can kind of be detached from it. So exposing her to that may be a way to break her programming.
Elly doesn't believe that she has a way out of that programming, but Fei is like, it's better to fight than do nothing, I guess. I mean, it's like telling somebody to get off Facebook and do something.
Yeah.
Get off Facebook and go make a podcast about your favorite video game.
Get off your phone and make content for phones.
So at that point, Fei's out of time here. He doesn't have any more time to have any more heart-to-hearts, and he's got to get back into Weltall and blast back off.
At some point, though, another reason she says she can't leave is she's afraid of what the elements will do to her, and this is the first time that she describes the elements as Ramses' personal guard.
Ah, okay. Do we know that when Ramses and Citan, Sigurd, and whoever else...
Yeah, whose guard they were at that point?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I have to assume the focus of the elements and their purpose shifted after the original four left. There's no evidence for that. That's just what I assume, because
but Ramses he's the commander of Gebler, so I'm assuming there was a commander.
Yeah, they were
of Gebler,
probably,
but maybe that person
whoever
may or
that
may not
was.
Be. Yeah, exactly. Elly also says that Dominia is not like the other soldiers.
Yeah,
which foreshadows a bit to tell us that probably a battle with Dominia is impending if we can't figure that out.
Yeah.
Then we get to
scared of her. She's not like everyone else.
Yeah. Then we get a save point, a mid cutscene save point, which is
that's a risk.
It is a risk, because if you have low health and you don't have the thing equipped, then you can mess things up.
You can really detrimentally ruin your save.
Now, I have recently switched to emulation. I was originally playing on the disc on PS3, but the PS3 is not sounding great right now. It just gets really loud.
Chris has a 60 gig backward compatible launch model. A refurbished launch model for that matter. That thing will be 13 years old next month.
Yeah, so I'm afraid of two things. First of all, that I'm just gonna lose everything. Second of all, it's gonna melt your disc. So
a possibility. The CDs are thin.
Yeah, I've taken the disc out and put it in there. It might be fine. I don't know, but nonetheless, I got a PlayStation Classic, got that thing modded, and then found some save files to kind of get myself back to where I had left off when I did this a couple of weeks ago.
Chris has Alice's dress now.
Yes, I've got the wedding dress, and I've got some probably stuff I don't deserve to have. I've got more death blows than I had before.
I believe you have the ether doubler, which was like 32,000 gold early in the game.
I've got way too much money, and I'm slightly overleveled. But
cool.
The reason for me to bring this up now is that I can play with save states a little bit. And I'm using Bleem Sync, which is the...
Did you say Bleem? They're still using Bleem?
Bleem
That was
Sync.
a Dreamcast PS1 emulator.
The new one is called Bleem Sync.
Holy shit, cool.
And it synchronizes with the PlayStation Classic, and it will automatically create a save state when you leave the interface.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So instead of me loading a save and going straight into the next part, I just resume the state where I was in the menu after the save point, so then I could remember... to go in there and equip things on people. So it worked out pretty good for me.
So yeah, you can also adjust equipment, and I think it heals you at this point too, right?
It does. I was very afraid that it didn't, but it does.
Yeah, it restores your health, because why would you need to restore your health? What do you fight next?
Well, first we save.
The Hecht rolls up.
Hell yeah. Last episode we told you that Hecht was German for pike.
Yeah, and this is a big brown ship with the Shadow of the Colossus's final boss attached to the top of it.
Yeah, it's like the torso of a gear attached to a floating airship.
Yeah, I don't really know the practical application of this, other than it looks kind of cool and makes for a great battle. But I don't know what having a thing with arms on the top of your gear really does for your defense mechanisms, unless you're fighting two other gears, which, hey, it's what we're doing.
Sure, why not? Rico, before the battle starts, Rico was like, "What the heck were you doing, Fei?" He probably saw him just two robots standing there,
shaking
each other, getting out, looking at civilians burning, and then getting back in and going off. It was so
flies with their skull in his hand over the thing.
Yeah, Rico's perspective, Stallone was very confused here.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing. I'm just trying to get his thing.
Of course I knew. I just had no idea.
So Fei implies that Dominia is Rico's girlfriend here, right?
I don't understand this part.
Well, I just think it's a little casual sexism. Where it's like, oh, you fighting with your... Because Fei sees somehow that the pilot's female.
Yeah.
I don't think Fei knows that they're both kind of off-kilter as far as not 100% homo sapien.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think it's that angle. I think it's just, oh, you guys are fighting?
Oh, is it like when your mom's like, oh, is that your girlfriend?
Yes,
when
that
you
is
talk
precisely
to
what it is.
One single girl in 6th grade, you talk to her for 30 seconds. Hey, is that your girlfriend?
Yeah.
No, Mom.
Mom says that in front of her. You don't talk to the girl again for 2 more years?
Yeah.
And you see her at Target when you're 32, and you're like, hey, what's up, Leslie? How's it going?
Nobody tell our moms to listen to this podcast,
right.
please.
So that happens.
The battle, right?
Yes, the battle happens immediately.
She's got super arids.
And she has some dialogue, too. She calls it, I'm in the ship bomb Hecht.
Oh.
I was like, did you guys translate that correctly? Ship-bomb Hecht.
Maybe it's because the ship is a bomb?
Yeah.
I mean...
Are we sure it's Hecht? Could it be Hecht? I know. We'll consult the Fei Net and get a German translation immediately.
Initializing Fei Net. Once again, it is pronounced Hecht.
But yeah, she has air odds, right?
Yeah.
Just like Elly, as we were told elements have.
Only they are capable of using that and using them. I'm not sure why. I don't know if they have additional ether or psychic powers that will allow them to control the little...
I bet in my head at Xenogears they're rated for their ether abilities, their chi abilities, whatever,
Yeah.
and you have to achieve a certain midichlorian count to be able to use that stuff.
Yeah. It's like in Gundam, in Gundam, certain characters can only use certain things because they had new type abilities, which is like the evolutionary sequel to the humans, where it was just like a human with additional psychic abilities.
Yeah, it sounds like some real Season 3 stuff.
Yeah.
So all these attacks are beam attacks, and why is that important? Every attack Dominia does in Hecht is a beam attack.
Well, because if you have a beam coat, you can win.
Yeah, you can take damage off by half. If you have 2 beam coats, she can't touch you at all.
She also, in addition to using her just little arids that float around, she also has a large beam thing that kind of floats above you and shoots a blast that hits everybody.
Is that the thing that separates and has its own hit point bar?
Yeah, I ignored it the whole time.
So did I, yeah.
But I guess if you don't have beam coats and you can't tank all that damage, then maybe
you want to take it out.
Yeah.
In RPG battles, generally, when they put out the distraction thing that attacks you that isn't the main boss, I usually keep piling hits on the main boss and just hope that my defenses and healing items can take care of it. Because attacking something that's not part of the fight that dies anyway, I've always considered to be a waste of time. Although it's necessary in some cases. But
it just depends on how if you're strong enough to outpace the damage.
Yeah.
There's very few battles that actually execute that well. The only one I can think of is some of those final Lavos battles in Chrono Trigger where you have to take off certain parts because they heal so much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me rephrase it. If there's a healer around, you take that thing out immediately. So this battle is otherwise pretty nondescript, right? There's not too much jawing back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, when you beat her, she gives off the normal villain line of like how she'll get us next time.
Of course.
I'll get you, hey Steve, is the last thing I do.
Yeah. It's funny that after working through the Proud Boys for the last time, Fei's going to start working up to wasting elements every time he meets them.
Yeah. I mean, he's just working his way up the ladder.
Graduate, man.
I think at that point we're getting like flashes of all the different characters in their cockpits, kind of like reacting to the Hecht as it begins to crash. And I think Rico and Fei are like, whoa, and they need to like do something about this.
Because this thing's crashing and it still has the bomb attached to it to purge, and
it's going straight into the reactor, I believe.
Yeah, and I guess they don't have, you know how if modern days atomic bombs drop, they don't actually have the detonation sequence. They won't actually explode upon impact.
Yeah,
they apparently don't have this technology in Gebler, so if it creates an impact, it'll create an explosion and on that reactor and just do whatever.
We get a really cool angle here from a cinematography perspective where we're sort of on the ground watching the ship come down towards us at an angle, and then the Weltall and the Stier grab it together, and to try to like, I guess, propel it back in there.
And you can see their thrusters, or at least drive it off course from the reactor.
This happens in every anime, by the way.
Of course.
Where there are like multiple mechs or characters or whatever just trying to push things back, whether it be like a Kamehameha or a meteor crashing towards the Earth or whatever.
I think Iron Man did that in Avengers.
Yeah, and that definitely came from anime.
Right. But you know what else comes from anime? What happens to help them?
Yes, the additional character appears at the last moment to help them. In this case, it being Elly and the Vierge. She's looking on and seeing people run away, and she's seeing civilians run through the fire, and the scene cuts to her. She gets in the gear, she jumps and joins Rico and Fei in trying to propel this thing away.
Fei's shit rub was effective.
Yes, exactly. This is like a reverse father-son Kamehameha where like she comes in to like propel the blast at the last moment.
And they get it off course. They get it so that it won't hit the reactor. And what's it barreling toward instead?
I'm not sure.
The residential area.
Oh, yeah, the residential area.
So Fei and Rico are out of juice at this point. They're like, all right, that sucks, but there's no point in us dying with it. We got to get out of here, Elly. But then Elly like insists that her gear has special powers or some shit. So she's like, from Solaris.
Yeah, she's like, mine's from Solaris. I'm fine.
But she also didn't just fight Dominia and push this thing for another 20 seconds or whatever. So she's got more gas.
I mean, isn't kind of the Weltall from Solaris as well, probably?
Well, yeah, but he's just been fighting the Hecht and a bunch of Wand Knights and a bunch of other stuff.
It's true. Also, the Weltall, I think only parts of it are from Solaris, because remember how they're unable to disassemble certain elements of it. They call it the black boxes earlier in the game.
Plus, I bought some parts from Hammer, so
yeah, and I'm sure that's
top shelf.
Some Dollar General ass.
I mean, we found that frame thing on a shelf next to a toy.
Yeah.
So whatever. Elly persists. The noises get really loud.
Yeah. I wrote down that she seems to die to the church music.
Yeah, she dies as the wounded shall advance into the light play, as Elly's gear like runs out of juice and then slow motion falls toward the city.
Yeah, and the combination of Elly slow motion falling away as if she was giving the ultimate sacrifice in combination with that specific music that we heard in the Church of Sophia is some real good foreshadowing, my dude.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how the organ music played in the Champions Room.
Yeah. Have you noticed that we've gotten like better drips of foreshadowing lately?
They're actually being kind of careful with it as opposed to in your face.
Yeah, the sewer stuff, now this. So we're getting there. So just to flashback briefly, the first time we heard that music was in the Church of Nissan.
Right.
And we learned that the founder of the Church of Nissan was Sophia. And then we saw a portrait of Sophia who looks exactly like Elly, who looks exactly like the picture that the captain had when he crashed the ship at the beginning of the game.
Mother God.
So yes.
But yeah, it's a cliche to see a person falling, especially a giant robot, falling lifelessly in slow motion, but I think it's effective. For a PS1 game, you just gotta do the rock clapping at the award ceremony gif while that happens.
There's also some effective reaction shots. Like as this is happening, it flashes to Fei's cockpit, it flashes to Rico's cockpit, and they don't like make faces, but it's a very...
Because they can't.
Yeah, because they can't. But it's a very anime thing to do. You know, like when you're watching like a very confined, like 24-minute episode of Dragon Ball or Naruto or something that's serialized, and they've got to fill the time. Like some huge blast will happen, then it'll cut to like 6 different characters, and you'll see them go,
open mouth.
That's what happened here. Although this game doesn't need to fill time, but
yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
But it did it was a nice shot. I liked how they included that. So next,
what happened truly shocked me.
Me too. I
didn't remember it.
I don't know what happened here. I honestly have no clue what happens next.
Just to describe it, a gear that is black and dark colored with organic black wings sweeps in as Elly's gear is falling and like catches her and then rests her down on the ground so the impact did not harm the gear.
It's like if Batman were to like grab his cape and then like whoosh it over top of somebody to like shield somebody from like a shrapnel blast or something.
Yeah.
Like it's almost as if Batman came, rescued her and shielded her. And when that gear was kind of like flashing through the sky, there was like a twinkle in the distance. There was like a star, and when it twinkled, it was almost cross-shaped. I don't know if it was explicitly cross-shaped.
I kind of noticed that too.
Yeah,
you're right.
But when the star kind of flared, it looked like a star. I was like, oh, are we gonna get some wave existence shit coming in here now? But no, it was just a flash of light, almost cross-shaped, and that gear came out of nowhere and did a thing.
I was like, my immediate first thought when I was searching for answers was, oh, that's Groff's gear, and it's got wings that are kind of pointed down. Perhaps those are his wings unfolded, but he's more of like a brown thing. That is not Groff's gear.
No, I don't think it was Groff's gear either. I had the same thought too, because I think it's like arms were crossed at one point too, like Groff does with his gear.
Yeah, I thought about it, and I know what it is now, but I don't know if necessarily the signs are available to know what it is if it's your first time playing this game. But after I thought about it, having played the game 13 years ago, I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
I still haven't pieced it all together yet, and I'm going to let my mind just kind of figure it out on its own.
So Citan and Hammer both see that thing go down too, right?
I guess.
So Citan's like, yes, of course.
And Hammer's freaking out saying,
what the fuck is that?
What's the Ave tournament? Yeah. So then it fades to black, and we get
what's the Ave tournament? That's what he's still asking. He's still looking for answers.
You guys never told me about this goddamn tournament. What? Who's Bart?
We get some weird static tuning noises after that.
Yeah, there's like abstract voices. There's some. I guess we are seeing the perspective of Elly, looking her subconscious.
Yeah, she's entering like a state of mania, maybe even shock at this point.
Yeah, there's some like buzzing electrical sounds too, and then when the screen fades back in, it's like just the Weltall's like sort of upper body portion of it.
Phase there.
Yeah, phase there, standing there. And at first I was like, oh, did the Weltall like grow wings and save her? Or what? Like, I'm not sure because at that point...
That gear had the same color scheme.
It did, yeah. It was hard for me to tell, though. I couldn't quite tell.
Weltall has shit on its back that's cooped up in compartments.
Oh, okay. So, well, all right.
That's just what I put together. I don't know if that's true or not.
The Weltall is holding the Viers like you would hold somebody when you, like, pull them out of a beach, pull them onto the beach when they're drowning or whatever.
Yeah.
It looked like... David Hasselhoff had saved somebody from the beach and was dragging them back to do CPR on them.
God, yeah.
And it's a weird to do with robots because, like, if you're worried about her safety, then you need to, like...
Get out of the cockpit, dude.
Most of the time in mecha anime or sort of anything, even if you're watching, like, a military drama or something... like you don't go rub tanks together.
Yeah, right.
You get out of the tank.
Metal.
Yeah, you get out of the tank and you go into the other tank and you make sure they're okay.
That's something that like I can see dumb guy Fei doing before he realizes what to actually do.
Yeah, remember the scene in Ava when Shinji like went and tried to get Rei out of the plug during the when they had to fight the floating pyramid thing.
She got all fucked up.
Yeah, and Shinji got out of the plug and went and tried to pull her out of the plug because he had some sense about him, but Fei did not, or they just wanted to frame this like cool like savior scene.
Speaking of cool, don't we hear some new music here?
I don't know if this is necessarily new, but the song, this is the first time that the song really struck me.
New to our podcast.
Yes, we hear the song Shattering Egg of Dreams, and it's like it's sad, but it's triumphant.
Yeah.
It's like there's a tinge of like hopefulness within the song. It's not all the way sad.
Some vague optimism.
Yeah.
Which is what this scene kind of is. This is objectively tragic, but good things could spring from it.
Yeah, it really pulls that whole scene together quite nicely. And Takahashi is actually, in the liner notes of the Xenogears original soundtrack, he specifically commented about how the soundtrack holds everything together. And he said, the soundtrack holds everything that... This is an awkward translation. Let's just say Takahashi explicitly commented in the Xenogears original soundtrack liner notes that there were certain scenes that didn't feel complete until Mitsuda's soundtrack was layered on top of it. And I think right here, this would be a weird scene if it was just one robot holding another robot and just a little bit of dialogue. But this song is like, okay, we are moving to the next portion of this game where Fei and Elly are going to be a thing, and she's going to be part of it.
You don't want to play Night of Fire here.
Yeah, no, not yes.
So there's some dialogue too, right? Doesn't he go full Goodwill Hunting on her?
I think so, yeah.
It's not your fault, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
He definitely says it's not your fault, Elly, it's not your fault twice. Which is what you tell anybody who's having a personal crisis at the moment, who feels responsible for, I don't know, all the mayhem and destruction that's surrounding this village.
Yeah.
Even though Ellie's definitely a cog in this process, but she's probably feeling guilt over not stopping sooner.
Yeah. When we finish recording this podcast, after we roll credits and we talk about the ending of this game, I want you to hold me in this pose while that music plays.
Yeah. We'll do a video podcast for that. That's good. I can't lift anything, so it'll have to be 10 seconds max. So,
okay. We'll Photoshop.
Great. That'll be the album art for the lights.
Oh man, hopefully we can get some talented Photoshoppers to help us out. So then the scene fades away, and we're back in A block in the doctor's house, I think, right?
Yep. Oh, excuse me, our house now. She's back in D block.
Oh yeah, she's claiming her responsibility. Hammer is here with Fei, Citan, and Elly.
Yeah, and Hammer is what they're relying on now for some reason.
We are very reliant upon Hammer at this point in time.
Dude.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but I guess we'll find out.
What's their ticket out of there?
Well, the ticket out of here is the super airship called the Goliath.
New plan, guys. New plan. We're not train riding. We're not defending anything. We're getting the Goliath, the battleship, the flying ship model we saw in Central Command's.
So is the plan to get the Goliath just to get out of the country?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they need a plane to do this. They can't just walk away in their gears that they all have now.
Because they have... I mean, there's... Sigmund has built the wall.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. There's like some stuff about Fei being wanted and everything. And like Public Enemy #1 type stuff, but dude, you've all got years. They fly. Just get the fuck out of here.
Elly knows how to get into this facility, apparently.
Yeah, she's apparently snuck in before, but she references to something that's happened earlier. I don't remember that.
I have no idea what she's talking about here.
But the Goliath Hammer says it can make a gear look like a pea. It can decimate Ave capital all by itself. So we want to imply this is a big imposing ship, which I guess they can put their gears on. And my first thought when I first played this game is like, all right, here's where we get the airship. Classic airship heist.
Yeah. This is not the airship, though.
Nope.
Airship heists are good. I wish we had them.
They're always good.
Setzer, shout out.
Hammer says Rico can't help.
Yeah, Rico's definitely not coming with us.
No, absolutely not. No. He's not going to be a new party character with a guy that's own gear, portrait, and integral part of the story.
No, absolutely not. And Hammer has got to tell Elly something.
Yeah, he pulls her aside and tells her some secrets.
And yeah, the scene fades.
The screen fades out, then fades back, and I walk by like, all right, guys, let's go.
We've been privy to things that are like going on inside of Elly's head. We've been privy to Ramses' dreams. We've seen scenes of like Sigmund and the Groff representative having conversations. We get a lot of information outside of the perspectives of our main characters, yet we can't have this conversation between Hammer and Elly.
I don't remember what he said at all. Chris, what do you think he told her? What do you think Hammer told Elly? Had to get off his chest. I don't think we're meant to know this yet. I'm just thinking, what would you have told Elly if you were Hammer?
So we know, let's workshop this for a second. We know that Hammer has some sort of sponsor here. It could be Groff, it could be anybody. It could be a representative of Solaris. Maybe it is a representative of Solaris. Elly is from Solaris. Yeah. So maybe he's like, hey man, I know Ramses, or I'm an agent of X and Y.
We're on the same team, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you're not.
We cool? Or maybe it's just like a passphrase and she doesn't reply to the other part of it.
Yeah. Or maybe he has crimes against Solaris as well.
Yeah. To hold her against her. Maybe he's incapable of lying to women and he says, look, I'm fucking with this guy. I will kill you if you tell him that I'm lying to him all the time.
I don't think Hammer could kill Elly, by the way.
Maybe he's got, like, once he gets rabid, he's got those Dracula fangs up front that'll just poke in the neck.
He's a were-hamster.
Yeah, dude. So that's weird. Did you talk to the nun again?
No.
If you go at the nun who's in the shitter, she says, go back and check on D-Block, nurse, because she's doing your job for you now, so drop in and say hi.
Oh, yeah. Did you do that?
No, D-Block's closed.
Oh, because it got all fucked up.
Well, I don't know if I think it's all on lockdown for the manhunt for Fei.
Oh, right. The manhunt for Fei's not going well.
Oh man, did you try to leave? I guess you have to through those. So when you exit the safe house in A block and you walk around, you can go to some places, but then there's some guards guarding what I think is the only exit.
Yeah,
and they there's some, I didn't write it down, but there's some weird stuff where if you walk by and they go, hey, is that guy on all the wanted posters? And someone's like, what are they say there's 2 or 3 people on Earth who look like everybody else. It's probably one of the 2 or 3 other people, right?
Yeah, there's no way that could be him.
And then once you challenge them, I think they still don't believe it, and you end up getting into a conflict where Rico comes in and does Goldberg's spear on them.
Yeah, this didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're going to get a little battle here. But no, we did not.
No, Rico shows up, and this is where Rico formally, as far as we know, joins your party.
Yeah. The weird thing is that
he does a weird scream noise as he does the spear, too.
Yeah, it's actually the same sound effect that was used on the red-visioned monster thing in the sewers.
Oh, weird.
I think it's a recycled sound
Yeah, it's
effect,
recycled. I'm not supposed to read into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rico said he's not going to... He's only going to come with us to the city limits, but I don't think he means the city limits. I think he means the Kislev borders.
Yeah.
Because he'll go onto the world map with you.
Yeah.
He'll leave Norchun with you. I think that's a bad translation.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go to the Goliath factory or whatever. And that's it, except for there's one more major interaction on your way out of Kislev.
So Norchun, like Ave, has that mini world map. Once you leave the city, you can go to a bitmap of other parts in the city and enter proper polygon environments. But there's a curious addition to the bitmap city this time. What is it?
It's Big Joe.
He's just hanging out on the world map.
He's hanging on the world map. And
there's a sprite.
We've seen guards hang out on the world map to tell us we can't go certain places in the past, but this is the first time we've seen a portrait-style character hanging out. Big Joe's there, and he says, hey, brother, you want to hear about my super muchacho information?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Is muchacho a thing?
I believe muchacho, from what I understand, is maybe a Spanish or a Mexican way to say small boy.
Oh, okay.
Initializing Fei Net.
Muchacho means young man in Spanish.
That's how it was used when I was in Spanish class. I'm not sure if that's true or if my teacher... She was from Ecuador, not Mexico or Spain, so I don't really know if she had a good grasp on the culture, but that's what she calls us.
Fei is like, you're the one who stole my 5,000 G for me. What do you say to you?
Fei says, super nacho information?
Super nacho information?
Yeah, that's what he says. He says, did you say super nacho information?
Oh,
and
man,
then that's it.
that.
That's the conversation.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. What happened for you?
Oh, okay. So
for a refresher, Chris gave Big Joe his 5,000 G to look behind the wall and see nothing. I said, fuck that shit, and didn't pay him.
Well, he says, Big Joe tries to play it off, and he says, hey, that's just a minor thing. Being picky will only turn you into a boring adult. You gotta be... ? And then he says, how would you say more open and deep like the sea?
Wow, Joe, that's deep.
Well, setting that aside, you need to listen to my super muchacho information. Fei says, you're funny, but keep it up and you'll piss me off.
Uh-oh.
I like this Fei.
I mean, Fei's already beat Joe's ass once, right?
He has. Like, all he had to deal with was taking some
garbage.
Yeah, some empty Bart Weiser light cans. And then Fei says, you're funny, keep it up, you'll piss me off. And then Big Joe says, from the looks of it, you're all in a group, right? In that case, you need to change your party. If you go to the Wildcat pub, there'll be a new waitress. If you ever want to change your party members, just remember to stop by there.
Yeah, he did tell me that part.
Okay.
So Big Joe's partial tutorial right here. Did you see what else you get?
No, he keeps going for me. He says, oh, one more thing. There was a deep, deep reason, as deep as the deepest ocean, for doing what I did. As a way of making up for it, go back to that back street one more time and search the area. You might find something good. For real.
Did you go back and search that area?
Yeah.
What'd you find?
Well, you find the M disc.
Letter M disc.
Letter M disc, and the M disc lets you play songs from the broken jukebox in the Wildcat.
Yes. Which in an era before you could download soundtracks off the internet. This came out, I think, when Napster was around, but not really used until 99, 2000 type thing. So if you want to hear the sweet soundtrack, does it play the game soundtrack?
There's like 8 or 9 tracks.
Okay, I think later that jukebox gets relocated somewhere else, which is where I played it back in the day. But I didn't know that you had to have the M disc to access it.
Yeah,
I probably bought it at the time. But if you want to hear these sweet tunes, that's a good way to go do it.
And if you speak to Big Joe some more, he's like, "Hey, what's up? Me, I'm always the cool and nice guy." And then he says, "The wind, cloud, world, they're all calling out to me. We'll meet again. Adieu."
And he's right. You do meet again.
Yes, Big Joe is a reoccurring thing in this video game. And that point, you go to the world map, save the game, and you're on to the next chapter.
Secret weapon.
Secret weapon is the next chapter. We'll talk about that next time. So thank you for listening, Eric.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, I listen to you. You listen to me. I talk. You listen. You talk. I listen. It's a great relationship.
Communication. Human beings.
Yes, communication. We have microphones to record us. And
we are portrait characters.
Yes, we are. I guess. Follow us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod. Send us an email at retrogradeamnesiapodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts are found. Apple, Spotify, etc. YouTube, Google Podcast, Google Play. It's all there. You can find us anywhere you want.
Like and subscribe. Comment. Is that what all the people say now? I don't know. Hey guys, what's up?
I think I'm going to stop saying all that because if you listen to podcasts, you already know how to do all this shit.
It's important.
It's bad. So next week we'll talk about Secret Weapon and maybe more. Until then.
Yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to sleep. Okay. I think that's an indication that we are saying weirder shit as we go along. Join us today as we use this game as a platform to discuss giant robots.
Robons.
This is a Mountain Dew podcast, not a bourbon podcast.
They don't go in circles because that's not how linear time works.
Other than the bass. That bass, okay.